Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something pretty fundamental. That feeling of wanting to give up, but finding that, well, that unwavering resolve. We're sorting through the stories, the facts, the strategies for those moments when you're really up against it.
That's right. Whether it's, a tough project at work, maybe a personal setback that's knocked you back, or just that voice of self-doubt. This deep dive, it's meant to give you more than just a pep talk. Our mission here is to really unpack what never give up actually means, beyond the cliche, and look into why we do feel like quitting sometimes, the psychology behind it, and then arm you with some real practical strategies to build up that resilience.
Okay, so let's start there. What does never give up truly mean? We hear it all the time, right? But what are we actually talking about here? Maybe psychologically, what's going on?
It's a really good question. Because, look, it's not about just putting on a brave face or, blind optimism. At its heart, never give up is about real resilience, a fundamental refusal, almost, to just give in when things get tough.
Yeah.
Psychologically, it's about believing deep down that you can handle challenges, even when you can't see the end or the odds feel completely against you. It's that conscious choice to try again, to adapt instead of just backing away.
Yeah, that really hits home. It's that inner push, isn't it? To keep going when every part of you wants to stop. It's waking up after you feel like you've failed and making that choice. Okay, I'm trying again, even if you're scared, even if you've tried loads of times before. It really is a mindset, a deliberate thing.
Exactly. Think about J.K. Rowling, rejected by, 12 publishers before Harry Potter got picked up. Just imagine for a second. What if she'd stopped after number 11? The world wouldn't have Hogwarts. It's huge. Her sticking with it wasn't just trying again. It was this deep belief in her story.
Oh, absolutely. And then there's Edison, right? Thomas Edison. Over 1,000 tries, apparently, for the light bulb. And he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work."
Awesome.
That's not just perseverance. That's completely reframing what failure is, seeing every wrong way as information, as a step forward. That's powerful thinking.
Precisely. So yeah, ultimately, never give up is a really powerful mindset. It's believing that even if today wasn't it, maybe tomorrow will be.
Yeah.
Or the day after. It's understanding setbacks aren't the end. They're just, part of the journey.
Okay, so we've got a picture of what this resolve looks like, and those stories are, wow, really inspiring. But let's be honest for a second. Not giving up is incredibly hard. Life can be brutal. So what are the real reasons, the underlying things that make people actually hit that point where they just say, I'm done?
Well, often I think it boils down to fear. And not just general fear, but specific stuff, like the fear of failing, obviously, or the fear of looking stupid, embarrassment. Our brains are basically wired to avoid threats, right? And trying something new, stepping out there, it can feel like a threat to our comfort or our ego. So we get that urge to retreat.
And then there's the comparison thing, which is just huge now, isn't it? Especially with social media. You're scrolling, you see everyone else's highlight reel. They look like they're succeeding easily, no struggles. And you just feel inadequate. Like, why bother? My journey's such a mess compared to that.
That's such a critical point.
Yeah.
Because what you don't see are the struggles behind the scenes. The 3 a.m. meltdowns, the rejections, the doubts everyone has.
Yeah.
So you have to ask, are you comparing your real messy insides to someone else's polished outside? It's a really common mental trap.
And another big one is burnout, surely. Sometimes people quit not because they stop caring, but because they've literally given everything they have. They're just exhausted. It's not apathy. It's profound exhaustion. How do we tell the difference, though, between needing a break and real burnout that maybe needs a bigger change?
That is a crucial distinction, yeah. Rest is definitely not quitting. Rest is necessary. It's a pause.
Yeah.
A chance to breathe, step back, recharge. It's like strategically putting fuel back in the tank so you can get back in the game stronger. But true burnout, that deep systemic exhaustion, that might be a sign that, your whole approach or maybe the environment needs rethinking. It becomes about self-preservation, not giving up on the goal itself.
Right. Rest isn't retreat. It's a recalibration. That makes sense. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we put this understanding into practice? How do you keep going when things feel like they're just falling apart around you?
Well, one really powerful strategy is to start small, like really small. When the big goal feels totally overwhelming, just focus on the very next step. Forget the whole mountain for now. This taps into things like Kaizen, continuous improvement, or micro habits. It's about progress, not perfection. Getting those small wins consistently builds momentum.
Yeah, and the power of those small steps adding up is amazing, isn't it? 1 page a day, suddenly you've written a chapter, then a book. One workout leads to another, becomes a habit. A single phone call can change everything. It's that compound effect. But what about when you don't see results right away from those small steps? How do you keep the faith then?
That's where remembering your why comes in. It's absolutely essential. And what's interesting is the difference between external motivation, like, money or praise, and that deep internal reason, your purpose. Keep that why somewhere you can see it. Write it down. Say it out loud. Stick it on the fridge. Because when the how gets really tough, your why is your anchor. It keeps you going.
That's good advice. Another thing people always recommend is building a support network, right? Surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, sometimes even more than you believe in yourself at that moment. They're like your personal cheerleaders, but also your truth tellers. They give you perspective when you're stuck in your own head.
Absolutely. And also, actively visualizing success. Don't just think about the finish line vaguely. Really picture it. Feel the emotions of getting there. Apparently, our brains aren't great at telling the difference between vivid imagination and reality. So that mental practice, it can really prime you to keep pushing, fuel the drive.
For so many people, I think the biggest block isn't the actual effort, it's the fear of failing. How do we shift that? How do we see failure not as a dead end, but just part of the process? Because let's face it, every success story has failures behind it, loads of them. Just trying means you're still in the game, right? You're still learning, gathering data.
Exactly. And this ties right into that idea of a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Seeing failure as feedback, data points, like you said, instead of some final judgment on your worth that changes everything. It's also about avoiding the sunk cost fallacy, not pouring energy into something that clearly isn't working, but also not ditching a worthwhile goal just because the first few attempts didn't work out perfectly. Sometimes you might need to strategically quit one approach so you can pivot and use that resolve better somewhere else.
That's a really important nuance. Okay, let's make this really concrete with the story. One that always gets me is Nick Vujicic. He was born without arms or legs. I mean, you'd understand if someone in that situation felt like giving up on what most people consider a normal life.
Right. But Nick chose something completely different. He decided to defy all those expectations, to not give up on his potential. And he became this incredible motivational speaker, known worldwide, an author, an entrepreneur. He shares his message of hope and resilience with millions, showing that what look like limitations don't have to define what you can achieve.
He said something really powerful. If I fail, I try again and again and again. If you fail, are you going to try again? The human spirit can handle much more than we realize. It just speaks volumes about that inner strength we all have somewhere.
It really does. And Nick's story, bringing it back to our theme, it just perfectly shows that while your situation might not change overnight, changing your mindset, your internal approach, that can change absolutely everything. It's about making that choice again and again.
So if you're listening right now and maybe you are thinking about giving up on something, just challenge yourself. Take one more step. Try one more time. You never know, right? Your breakthrough, that turning point, it could be right there, waiting for that next attempt.
And remember, too, success isn't always about the big, flashy stuff, fame or fortune. Sometimes real success is just choosing to keep going when nobody's watching. Sometimes it's simply that quiet internal decision not to quit. That's a victory in itself.
You are stronger than you think, stronger than your struggles, more capable than your doubts suggest, more resilient than your fears want you to believe. Often, our capacity is way bigger than the challenge right in front of us.
So here's the final thought we want to leave you with from this deep dive. Never get up. Not on your dreams, not on your goals, and, maybe most importantly, never give up on yourself, on the person you're capable of becoming.
If this resonated with you, maybe share this deep dive. Share it with someone you know who could use this message right now.
Yeah, and keep exploring. Keep learning about yourself, about mindset, about tackling challenges. There's always more to discover, always room to grow.